Hi, I'm Janine with Lamont Bros, and I am so excited to be here with our friend Kim, who is about to embark on a kitchen remodel. So let's talk about what inspired you and how we're going to make your dream a reality together. Kim, why don't you walk me through some of the things that you really want to change about this kitchen?
We'll just kind of start here. Cabinet doors used to be here, aren't anymore. Janine knows this really well, but I'm a stuffer. We're all stuffers, so we love to stuff everything to the absolute gills, as you can see. Now you know our breakfast nook and everything, but anyway, we tend to get a lot of clutter everywhere, and that is like something that it bugs me, but I know that that's not gonna change about my family. So making more room, a lot more storage space so I can throw things like my gigantic Instant Pot that I'm gonna cook for 20 people underneath somewhere that's gonna be convenient. Another pain point, we can't reach the stuff on top of the fridge here, so that's been kind of annoying.
Dead space.
Yeah, exactly, dead space. So we end up piling all of our food, our lunch bags, everything ends up on top of here. Anything that we don't want the dog to counter surf, we have to put on top of the fridge. So it'll be nice to have, I need more storage space of things that I can close that the dog's not gonna get into. This desk, instead of being used as a desk anymore, it just gets used, as you can see, as kind of a multi-purpose area to dump things. Down here, we have a dog who's fairly large, and so we keep all of his food and stuff down here. So this was both a problem and a solution. I think one of the things is if we just take out the desk, because we're really not using it like a desk like it should be used, then we can use this for storage and then move the dog station to somewhere else where we used to have storage or empty space.
Okay.
Then this pantry is where I keep all my food. It has this weird door over here that goes to our beautiful dining room, actually, and we can't appreciate it because half the time our kids are running back and forth and banging into this, and so they can't get through the door. I'm getting stuck, people hurt their fingers, whatever.
And you're wanting all new appliances.
Yes, main motivation for this whole renovation in the first place was that all of our appliances are broken or in sort of disrepair. We've been sitting on this for as long as we possibly can, and we're just at a point now where we have to replace them. So it gives us an opportunity to sort of do that in a more custom way. So another thought was that this fridge is, while not super ugly, it's just kind of doesn't serve any aesthetic purpose. And if we could move this out of the way, I could use the space so much better.
I would imagine that having to constantly open the fridge and cook at the same time would also be like another door kind of.
Yes, so we're constantly kind of in each other's way, this way going around. This is an overmount sink. I never thought about whether a sink needed to be overmount or not. I like the size of it, but I cannot keep it clean. And we're just constantly cleaning it and water's falling on the floor and whatever. So one of the biggest things I want is an undermount sink or some way of keeping it cleaner, easier. Easier. So that's, and then, the faucet being broken, but also I would love it to be like a pretty color. I want more light in this room, so. In addition, I should just highlight the light right here is, I think, the first thing that I noticed when we moved into this house that I really hated. And we were gonna replace it immediately. We just didn't.
How long ago
because
was
that was like 10 years ago. And we've lived with it. You can see that we just stopped replacing the bulbs because the fluorescent lighting is so ugly and it feels cold and uninviting, and also just doesn't light the place very well. Okay. So we have all different kinds of jimmying together lighting. That's going.
First thing, okay, got it.
So that's definitely going, and we're replacing that hopefully with something that will be more aesthetically pleasing, but also just functional. So next, looking at the counters, we're tall, we can handle like a little bit higher on the countertops, and so one of the ideas was to make a functional island. I really need more space for the island, and you would say, why do you need more space for the island? But if, I want to be able to store things under here, and then I want to be able to use this space. And especially when I'm having, cooking parties, people are out here making dumplings or doing whatever we do together, and I just need more space for that. I want to be able to utilize that when I bake bread, to be able to put the loaves and whatever out together. That's
So a bigger island.
something I need. I
Or
need
more
it to be
countertop
bigger.
space. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
More countertop space, more island space that I can actually functionally use as a kitchen. And so having a table over here, which is great, cute old table, one of the thoughts was to keep that sort of maneuverable table so that we wouldn't have to mess with too much of the line of travel. So
So sometimes you
Yeah.
use the table for a countertop,
Yeah.
and sometimes you use it as a table.
yeah, and that's the idea, is that we'll make this a little bit more countertop height so that we can use it while standing and moving around and baking. And then we can use it as a regular table, and we have some stools that we're gonna do for that. The dishwasher also is a little bit inconvenient in that it pulls out and kind of comes right up to the island. So we're always kind of coming around. The dog is always trying to lick the dishes out of the dishwasher, as dogs do. And my kids we want them to be good about putting their stuff away. So that does actually end up being a real pain point here, especially if somebody's here washing the dishes. It's nice to have them next to each other. So there's certainly things we like about the location of things that we're gonna keep. So we're keeping our dishwasher here, but we're replacing the dishwasher, and then the island layout we need to change to make it a little bit more maneuverable in this area.
I noticed you've got some trash pails here.
Yes, so this is probably other really big glaring thing, which didn't really bother us so much because we have so much clutter here often at first. But then when I thought about it, we were talking about doing a renovation. I was like, oh, I could actually get rid of that. And my dad, who's an architect, came over one day and was like, well, what are you gonna do about the trash? And I said, well, I'm gonna leave it out because we want it to be convenient. Like, being stuffers, we like everything to, fill the bin completely. And I'm worried about putting that away. And so we'll see how that happens with Remodel. But these have got to go.
What are you hoping the outcome will be once we come in and tear all this up and do a whole new kitchen? Like, not just the look of it, but like the function and the overall experience. What are your hopes?
Well, my first hope is that the renovation itself doesn't happen with any giant surprises. We break a water main or something crazy happens. And I think that the investigations we've done into that have given me confidence that's not gonna happen. Living without a kitchen for a little while will be tough, but I think in the end, my overall hopes are that I get a kitchen that's really functional and beautiful, but way beyond the aesthetic is how long am I gonna be allowed to go where I don't have to think about this anymore? And then I just have a working kitchen that I love, that I can invite people to, and take care of my family, and things are where they're supposed to be, and that it lasts 10, 15 years before I even have to think about that again.
Good.
Yeah,
I think that's a realistic goal.
I think so. I hope so.
And follow the design process through to the end so you can gather a lot more insight.